In verse 29, Paul continues and he says about people, holy people, who would prophesy during the church meetings. Now, we should realize that Paul is not limiting this portion of the teaching here in verses 29 to 33 to those holy people who may have been given a specific assignment or mission of a prophet. They've been given that assignment for a specific period of time. But Paul includes all holy people who may prophesy. And of course, all of us can prophesy if we receive that contribution from the Spirit within us. We saw that in chapter 12 and verse 10. Paul says, during your meetings, 2 or 3 prophets must utter forth. So again, he's showing us the least and maximum number of people who should prophesy at a given meeting. So the minimum number to prophesy would be 2, and the maximum number is 3, those people who would receive the contribution of prophecy at a meeting. And the others must truly judge. The others who? The other holy people who would also like to prophesy at that meeting must judge through and through. And that's referring, of course, to the contribution of true judgments of spirits. We saw that also back in chapter 12 and verse 10. Anyone else who may think that they would prophesy at the meeting must listen to the Spirit within them, judge through and through regarding prophecy. In this case, there would be the sign for the believers. Prophecy is a sign for believers. So those 2 or 3 people who would prophesy would speak forth the words so that others can hear and understand those words. And an unlearned person or an unbeliever that may be in that church gathering would receive the opportunity to become learned and or become a believer. And so all of the church of holy people would receive that edification, the encouragement, the comfort. But if it would happen at any time that someone or something would be revealed to another holy person who is sitting nearby, so something would be uncovered, revealed, made known via that Holy Spirit life within, as though removing a veil, revealing some information, then the first person who was prophesying must be silent or hush. Stop speaking. Having finished your prophecy, you stop speaking. And then the prophet to whom God has revealed specific information that he wants the church to know at that same meeting must speak it forth. Why? In truth, you holy people are able, you have the able power, the capability to prophesy one by one after another, if God reveals specific information of prophecy to a holy person at that meeting. Again, that's that contribution from the Spirit within. For the purpose and result that all the people at the meeting would be able to learn from the words that you would speak. They would be learning God's words that you're speaking at that meeting. And all of the people at the meeting would be encouraged. No one is to be deprived of the words that God asks you to prophesy at a meeting. Paul continues and he says, also the prophets' spirits, or the spirits of the prophets, that is referring to the gift of Holy Spirit within those who prophesy at the meeting, are subject to the prophets. The spirits within you are subject to the prophets. It will not force someone to prophesy words that it contributes to the holy person. It's up to you to speak forth those words of prophecy. So the prophet spirits are subject to the prophets, are under the authority of the holy people who are supposed to prophesy at that meeting. Even the prophets must behave themselves in the church. There's no excuse for any holy person to not prophesy if the Spirit within you gives you the information to speak forth, that contribution of prophecy. You know, the Holy Spirit will not force you to speak it forth. Possession or control or that domination, that forcing, is the work of the devil, or his devil spirits, and they can control unsaved people. But in this context that Paul is talking about, we're talking about holy people with the Spirit of God and Christ in them, receiving words from the Spirit within, those contributions. Our Holy Spirit will not push us around. So if you ever hear someone saying at the meeting that the Spirit forced me or I couldn't help it, that is not true if they're talking about the Spirit within them. All of us holy people can control ourselves. We have that self-control. We are to walk in God's kind of love while attending our meetings. Among the church of holy people, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. Perhaps at Corinth, the prophets, or those who prophesied, thought they were better than anybody else at the meeting. Paul says very clearly that the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. In truth, God is not of instability. Instability is the quality or state of not standing down firm or fixed on the truth. God is not of instability, without a sure standing, being unsteady or not stable. God is not unstable. God is not characterized by being unstable or striving with one another. You know, whereby the prophets at the meeting would be striving, maybe one wanting to speak louder than the other or on top of each other. That's not the correct behavior for holy people at our meetings. But on the contrary, God is of peace. God consists and is characterized by peace, tranquil harmony, tranquility, peaceful wholeness, without any strife or disagreement. That's how we should behave ourselves at a meeting, according to God's peace, as He, God, is in all the churches of the holy people. You see, Paul is writing to the Corinthian holy people, so Paul is making sure that they know that he's not just telling them one thing and telling the church in Galatia something else, or the church in Philippi another thing. Paul says God is of peace as He is in all the churches. All of God's churches in any location. We should all behave ourselves, and today also, we should behave ourselves walking in God's kind of love.